Hello all and welcome to the episode 1 of this series on self-preparation. Episode 0 was for those who were confused what the civil service is and they really had doubts. So I hope that episode has helped you. Now onwards we will directly address the various points which are essential for the self-preparation, and I am assuming that all those watching, you have already decided that you are going to go ahead with the preparation. So these episodes, these capsule episodes, micro episodes are for you to strengthen and help in your self preparation. So let's get started with this episode 1. The theme of this episode 1 is basically laying the foundation. If you see any house, building or any structure, what is the most important thing? Yes, the foundation, and something which is not visible to us. We see the building, we see the grandeur of the building, we see the height of the building, what the colors of the building, but we do not see the most important part, which is the foundation of the building. So laying the foundation for UPSC preparation. Once again, this also will be helpful for other competitive exams, because more or less the nature of the exam these days is the same. So this will also be helpful for very many other competitive exams where general studies is one of the main components. So the first thing you need to do to kickstart your preparation or lay the foundation for the absolute beginners is that start reading newspapers. Now newspapers, yes, we have been reading newspapers during our school days also, and but that is quite different than what you are supposed to do when you are preparing for UPSC or competitive exams. Just browsing through the newspapers is will not help. You have to go in detail. At least you have to spend initially when you, for those who are absolute beginners in terms of newspaper reading, you have to spend at least 1 to 2 hours with the newspapers every day. Read the important thing in detail, especially those news where you have no idea what is this. You may want to research about it and read it in detail. You have to read editorial pages, which as a school going children perhaps we have not read. So all those things in detail you have to read the newspaper. Another very important thing is that at least 2 newspapers we should read to balance our views. For example, certain newspapers, I don't want to name any particular newspapers, but they have a very lopsided view of the situations and facts and the developments that happen. So maybe if you are familiar with the left and right ideologies, some newspapers, they go towards the left, some newspapers go towards the right. But as a ideal aspirant and as a balanced person, one would expect that your views are also balanced. It's not far left, it's not far right, somewhere near the center. It's progressive, it's neutral, it's optimistic, and all those things. So to ensure that happens, please choose 2 newspapers. If you are reading one newspaper which is far right, then the other one should be far left, so that balance is created in your views. And this happens very without even your knowing it. It happens that if you're reading a certain kind of newspapers, you will start thinking like that. Your answers will reflect a tone very similar to the one expressed in the newspapers. So all those things will happen subconsciously and you will not even know that this is happening. But the reader, the examiner, the one who will check your answer scripts will definitely see that tone, and we don't want that to happen. We need to have a balanced view, we need to have a constructive view, we need to have a positive approach in our answers, and that is why please balance your views by having 2 newspapers. Now when it comes to newspapers, one more thing that we have to do is that make short notes, because what will happen is now this UPSC current affairs is the main thing. And by current affairs, it's not really the recent current, the UPSC goes back 2-3 years. So if you're preparing for 2022 UPSC, right from 2019, 20, 21, you have to know all these events which happened in the recent past. So basically, you read newspaper every day, 2 hours you read, 1 hour you read, but then at the time just before the exam you will not be able to get the time to go through all those newspapers which I have read. So very simple method is to make a register and make short notes from whatever you are reading from the newspaper. If it's certain small facts, please note down in the newspaper. And then if the article itself is very good and extremely well written and well researched, and you think this is something which can be useful during the time of the essay preparation, so please cut down the snippet, that particular article, and paste it in your notes register. So this is all about making the best of newspapers. Now apart from that, what you have to do is along with the newspapers you should also read some developmental magazine. Now this developmental magazine, essentially to name a few, are Yojana, Ncrps, which are most common. There are others also, it's up to you. It's what do you like, what style of writing you like, and what presentation of facts you like. So it differs from people to people, so I'm not gonna pinpoint. The point is, we need to know about the various schemes of the government, we need to know the analysis of the various schemes of the government on the field, and we need to know the impact and what changes can be done to them. So in order to understand that, you have to read about it, you have to read about how it has worked in various states. So all these kind of analysis is given generally in detail in these magazines like Yojana and Kurukshetra. You can go with others also, and these go very well with the newspaper reading. Newspaper reading basically will give you the bird's eye view, and but to go in detail you must read this developmental magazine. And also, plus on top of this, yearbook is a good roundup. So let's say you have decided today to start your preparation. Now your preparation may take 1-2 years, and you may give the exam in 23-24. So it would be very good idea to start with this year's yearbook, like 2022 yearbook, India yearbook. There are various yearbooks which basically tell you what has happened in the country and the world in the whole year in different sectors: education, health, the ongoing pandemic, power sector, this sector, that sector. So everything is contained. It's a thick book, it's an intimidating one to start with, but I think it's absolutely a good idea to go through a yearbook that will tell you, that will give you an overall picture, like what's happening around in the world, what things are important, in which direction which countries are going, and whatnot. So it also gives you a lot of push for your GK preparation, which is useful in very many other exams, because you on a practical note you will be also be giving other exams, right? So your GK and current affairs also has to be very good. So this basically, these two steps to start with immediately. Today you have decided, today itself, ensure that from tomorrow you get newspapers. Today go out in the market and take these developmental magazines and start reading. So these are the first two steps. The next step in your laying the foundation is going through the syllabus of the exam. See, whatever we are facing in life, or whatever we have taken up as a aim or objective, you need to know what that is. Suppose you have decided to crack an exam, you want to crack an particular exam, you have to know the basic structure of the exam, from where they are going to take the questions, all those things. Once you understand the basics, then it is very easy to direction your studies in a particular manner. But if you don't know where you have to go, so all those effort can be useless. So the first thing today you should do is go to the UPSC website, or just Google it, UPSC syllabus, and then take a printout of that syllabus and paste it in your room, next to your study table, next to wherever you study. Every day you need to go through the syllabus, so that it should be in your mind what is there in the syllabus. Every keyword, every topic you should be aware, and it should be on your fingertips. What is the syllabus? In a way, it also helps in newspaper reading, because newspaper reading and for current affairs, and you will read so many books. So basically, what is relevant, what is not. See, UPSC is definitely about hard work. but it has to be smart hard work. You have to know what to read, what to let go. You cannot keep reading. If you read every word of the newspaper, the whole day will be gone, right? So essentially you need to know what you need to read and what you need to leave. So for that, you must know the syllabus. It's not just with newspapers. Whatever you are reading from now on, you need to filter it also, because you cannot read everything. The syllabus, for example, say general studies, so essentially it means everything, little bit of everything, but can you read everything about everything? No. So you have to put those filters, and to put those filters you need to know what is the syllabus of the exam. Apart from the syllabus, what will help is what kind of questions have come in the last 5 years or also 10 years. Why I have stressed on 5 years is that the pattern, has been changing quite a bit, especially in mains. The kind of questions which used to come, descriptive questions earlier, now, fact-based questions. Now it's all conceptual, testing your conceptual clarity, testing your analysis, testing your writing skills. All those things are happening. So it's quite dynamic. So if you are going to appear this year or next year, the last 5 years, kind of more or less the trend has been on a similar pattern. So go with 5 years. If you have still a fresher, you have lots of time, go through the last 10 years. So that will give you the overall picture of what is being asked. See, because knowing the syllabus is one thing, right? You know the syllabus from what topics question will come. So that's fine. But you also need to know how questions will come. So earlier, for example, the approach 10 years ago was very different. It was fact-based questions, data-based questions, a lot depending on mugging up the data, the dates, the numbers, the figures. But now it has become more conceptual. Conceptual clarity is being tested. Your analysis of fact is being tested. Your vision and your approach is being tested. So a lot has changed. So to understand that, you must go through the last 5 years question paper. Once again, if you have time, if you have more time, last 10 years. Especially mains, may separate approach for mains and prelims. So this, along with the syllabus and these 5-year question papers, will definitely help you big time in understanding the exam pattern, what is expected, and how you are to read the newspapers, how you are to read the magazines and other books. Now next is, once you have done all that, this is more or less the level 1 of the basic. Then you move on to NCRTs. Now NCRTs basically are the books which are used in CBSE schools. So NCRTs class 6 onwards, 6 to 10 for all subjects essentially, and then 11th 12th class NCRTs on particular subjects, like which are of relevance to you based on your optional or generally in general studies also. So prefer old NCRTs because they are more into the data and more into giving more information, because these days the new NCRT, which is again a good step, that the new NCRTs have been made more along with pictures and along with data, diagrams, so much of interactive exercises, less of reading but more of these kind of interaction, which is a good step. But for our purpose, which is making the foundation for the UPSC exam or other exams, I think the old version makes more sense. So if you can get those old copies which are easily available in the in these coaching areas in Delhi, in Mukherjee Nagar, in Old Rajendra Nagar, etc., and in other cities also now it's available, or online also it is available. There are many. In fact, this National Digital Library is there, which is hosted by this IIT Kharagpur online. So all the NCRTs are there. In their website also all the NCRTs are there. So it's online available. Please go through, start having, because this is essentially making the base of your general studies. What you have read during 6th to 10th, it says the school is the basis of your education. It's very right, and even in UPSC exam also these NCRTs are very, very important, because if you go directly into these hardcore books, you may not be able to connect things. So once you understand the basics which the NCRTs provide, then onwards it is easier to go to these higher level books. So NCRT reading Class 6, I would suggest, if you are still in college, if you are young, if you have the advantage of age, read class 6 to class 12 all the NCRTs, especially this science, history, social science, geography, etc., economics, public administration, sociology. So that will give you a very, very good foundation for starting the actual preparation. So now coming to the next part in this laying the foundation. This is something which I consider is one of the most important things in exam. If you have good writing skills, then it will be, the chances of you getting through the mains is very high. But if you struggle with writing, then even if you know a lot, if you can analyze data a lot, but if you cannot write and present, then it becomes a very challenging affair. So right from the beginning, I would suggest it won't harm to start. If you struggle in that area, particularly for those people, it is a good idea to start writing this one answer daily. So it need not be a very particular thing. It need not be a UPSC previous year question answer. It can be simply what you are reading today. Let's suppose you read about SpaceX. So whatever you've read, based on that, the privatization of the whole space transport and this rocket making and rocket launching, just write an answer on that, so that you slowly develop, because answer writing essentially takes a lot of time. I have there's a separate detailed stream is there on writing skills, which I did a month back, so please go to my channel and you can see that for writing skills. But this one thing, this simple one thing will greatly benefit, because essentially your preparation will span from 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, certain a long duration. So if you do this every day, right from the starting, then you will see amazing result. After a year, the difference of your answers between 1 year and 2 year, you will be yourself surprised. So basically the trick is the practice makes a man or woman perfect. So this one answer every day, from your side, no, and many people ask me that then who will check, we don't have anyone to check our answers. It's okay, it's fine. The more you read and the more you write, you automatically, your answers will keep on improving. If you have somebody, peer group is there, then you can just give them the answer and you can check theirs, and the others can check yours, something like that. So one need not have an expert to check the answers. You can, your family members, your elders, they can also check the answers. So this is very, very important for those who struggle or who are not confident about the writing skill. So please start this immediately, starting today. The next point I want to mention is that eclectic reading. Now, of course, you will be reading the NCRTs, you will be reading the development magazines, you will be reading the newspapers, but that certainly is not enough. Eclectic reading, that means you have to read from a lot of sources apart from the suggested book list which is there for UPSC. Please also read randomly. There are very many biographies, autobiographies, non-fiction about India, about the super achievers in India, about general topics, about the water management, about, there's so many books. So start developing or inculcating the habit of reading books, especially non-fiction books. If you don't have this habit or hobby, please, this is very essential, and this will help you big time in your UPSC preparation, because you will get so many extra pointers. See, you have to realize that everyone is going to do that, right? Everyone is going to read the NCRTs, everyone is going to join the coaching and read the content, the book list, everything is going to do that. So what makes you different? What brings those extra additional points which others may not have, right? So this eclectic reading from these books, which are non-syllabus books, which are little not common, so they will give you extra points in your answers, they will give you extra confidence, they will give you extra clarity and vision to write those answers. So it is very, very important to start this eclectic reading. Read different kind of books. Don't go only for example, books on India. Go on various topics, any random topic. Of course, I mean, like, it has to be a little relation with the UPSC exam, or general studies, or general concept which can be used anywhere. So all try to, during your preparation, please develop this habit and to take a break from your regular content reading or coaching material reading or syllabus book reading. Go for these books, like on a Sunday take up a different kind of book which gives a different perspective. For example, there is this wonderful book, Let There Be Water. Now, how Israel, which was almost like a, facing this desert kind of desertification, they overcome that, and how they ensure that there is water abundance now is there for agriculture and other activities. So it's certainly not mentioned in the syllabus, but it's a wonderful book, and it will give you ideas, because India is also going to have water problems. In fact, some areas are already facing. So it's a genuine issue. It's an issue which the world will face. In fact, they're talking about the next wars will be water wars and all those things. So it's very important that way, that this kind of book, and there are so many like that. So please Google best books for knowledge, etc., etc., random top 100 books to be read. So anyway, so eclectic reading is very, very important for your overall growth, for your overall expansion of your horizon, and expanding your knowledge base. So this eclectic reading is very, very important. The next point I want to mention is that for personality tests and for interviews, I have uploaded separate detailed streams, live streams. So please go and watch them whenever you get time. But the bottom line here I want to mention is that when you have decided today to start the preparation, you should also start your preparation for the interviews. And one of the most important things in the interviews, to have a good resume, to have good DAF, CV, whatever you want to call it, and it takes time. So especially for those who are freshers, who are just out of college or who are in the college final year, second year, so your CV may not have much, right? In the terms of you've done your schooling, you're in college, and now you're preparing for UPSC. So in case you appear in the interview, there isn't much on your CV which says that you're committed to the whole public service, or you have done something on that regard. So to develop a CV, it takes time. To develop personality, to improve your personality, it will take time. So that is why start now. When you have started the preparation, give some time to these activities, participate in group discussions, give mock interviews, however you feel you can improve, please improve. So this resume, CV, DAF, it takes time for improvement. And once again, the detailed video is on my channel, so especially on personality development and also on interview skills. So please go and watch them for detailed analysis. But start today, start working on improving your CV. Now, last point I want to mention in this episode on laying the foundation is that have a good circle, peer group, study circle, or whatever you want to call it, with your close friends who are also preparing, serious ones, because see, this particular exam, UPSC exam, demands a lot, and there are various phases in your preparation when you might not feel motivated by yourself to continue the preparation, or you might need help in certain topics, or you might need help, as we talked about, one answer every day to who's going to check. So if you have a peer group, you can just circulate among your friends and check. So it's a long journey, and you need support at various levels, be it the answer checking, be it the what to read, sharing, debating, discussing, and one very wonderful thing which comes out of this discussion. Suppose there is a topic, any topic, let's talk about climate change. So you have read about, obviously you have read about climate change, and you have certain ideas about climate change, and when you write an answer, you will write all those ideas, and when you read it, you will feel okay, it's a wonderful answer. But once you discuss the same thing with your colleague, with your friend, or with your peer group, you will see that new points are coming. These new points, somewhere deep down inside you knew already, but then it didn't reflect in your thoughts, it didn't reflect in your analysis, it didn't come out very well in your answers. Why? So we all are different, and we all have read different sources. As I said, eclectic reading. So there is something which you have not read and your peer group, your friend has read. So those points are coming from there. So isn't it a wonderful idea to have these discussions and then prepare notes on that particular topic, so you have a multiple dimensions, multiple viewpoints, and then eventually after going all this, after discussing, after listening to them, after reading their answers, then you can make a balanced answer. So this really helps a lot when it comes to especially UPSC, because there's so much to read and there are so many divergent views on each topic and there are so many arguments, and so it makes sense to have a peer group. It will keep you motivated, it will keep you going, and it will help in your answer improvement, in your writing improvement, in your communication skills in so many ways. So have this group with you. So this is basically all about the foundation. Start reading newspapers today, they are the most important thing. Follow it up with the developmental magazines. Take a printout of the syllabus and paste it on your study table. Last 5 years or 10 years, depending on how much time you have, start with the Ncrps. Start writing one answer every day. Have eclectic reading. Pick out some good novels. Whenever you are traveling, you see a bookshop, there are so many bestsellers there. You think whatever, if some book is relevant for UPSC or for general studies or for current affairs, pick it up and read while traveling. Then there is resume. Start working on your DAF, maybe once in a while to break the flow of the monotony of preparation. Go and volunteer in some social cause, and that can be reflected in your CV. You can have distance education. You can, while preparing, for example, I did my master's in public administration while preparing. Since my optional was public administration, I thought it would be a good idea to get a master's degree out of it. Something like that. Engage in distance learning, get some new degrees while preparation. It will help your CV. And lastly, have a good study circle. So this is all about laying the foundation. I hope you have found this useful in this 10 episode series, and the remaining 9 episodes will focus on different important topics. So please subscribe and hit the bell icon to get alerts on new videos. Share this with also those who want to do self preparation on UPSC and also on other exams. Thank you so much for watching.